Back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about Donnie Smith, Kroger, Stand Your Ground in the Ohio General Assembly. Obviously, who doesn't know who Donnie Smith is? This is about the third or fourth time we've talked about this man in the last couple of days. He was a white man at the age of 53 who was beaten to death by three black males outside of a Kroger in Columbus, Ohio, and the fucking ghetto, basically, is what it was. And yeah, the three pieces of shit who attacked him are going to be tried with murder in this state, thank God. Unfortunately, we don't have firing squad as a death penalty sentence in this state right now. But hopefully that'll change in 2024 is what it is. But anyway, ironically enough, the whole thing, the reason we brought up Stand Your Ground obviously here is because in this situation, you had the attack not be stopped until, most recent update, which is a good guy with a gun, Good Samaritan, that was armed, intervened, and basically stopped it. Unfortunately, they didn't get there in time because poor Donnie still had life-threatening injuries, still had like skull fractures and other shit like that, and basically was taken to the hospital in critical condition, died in the hospital is what it was. Obviously, I'm going to go point this out right here on my eyebrow area, because obviously it is showing up in the camera now. Had a weird ingrown above my eyebrows a couple days ago, and it finally decided to deal with itself this morning or whatever, and was able to finally get all the. It was basically just blood the last couple of days, and then this morning it finally had like a pus pocket or whatever that popped out. So I was able to drain that for the most part, and hopefully it'll heal up in a few days, and then that'll be gone. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, it's a pain in the ass. Kind of hurts just at the touch, but yeah, I'm putting some random antibiotic ointments on it and stuff like that, so hopefully it'll help the next day or two what it is there. But yeah, the reason I bring this up, obviously, the whole thing with this Donnie guy and then the General Assembly is what it is because one of the state reps, Brian Stewart, who loves to kind of insert himself into shit like this is what it is. I don't know why, but you know, it is what it is. But he'll basically sit there and talk about different stuff and be like, oh yeah, look at this case and stuff. And it's interesting because he doesn't follow the network, but I believe he sees enough of our posts is what it is, like directed at the GOP and stuff like that, and like directed at the, Ohio House Caucus and stuff like that's what it is here. That he's like, oh, maybe we should actually pay attention to this story is what it is, kind of thing. The real problem is though, you have all these leftists that come out of the woodwork and whatnot, and like maybe just middle of the road people and whatnot, that will then give him shit over the post. And I get what he's doing here, like what he was saying in this post. I'm gonna bring it up here in a minute is what it is. And I think the issue was because of how Twitter/X works, where unless you're paying for like the premium side or whatever to have more characters and shit, you can only say so many things in the situation. And I believe, unfortunately, for that reasoning, it's why he left out Donnie's name, which I think is absolute bullshit. He should have called him. He should have said the name is what it is there. He should have said, yes, this man Donnie Smith was beaten to death is what it is. Because he basically went like, instead of going like step 1, step 2, step 3 stuff or whatever, he immediately like skipped step 1 or step 2 was what it was there. And it's basically like the step 2 and then the step 3 kind of thing in the same post is what it is, where it's essentially like, this is how it starts, this is where we're at, and this is what's going to happen probably is what it is. Which is, and this is where we actually called him out for by when they come back in the session here, which is either going to be at the very end of this year, like the 28th or so, I believe, 27th, 28th, something like that. Or it's going to be sometime in January, I believe is what it is when they'll actually reconvene then for the actual New Year's, what it'll be then. There's been times where they'll come back like after Christmas is what it is for like a day or so, just to do whatever then, to like sort of do like a cleanup thing is what it is there. But for the most part, I believe the 21st or 22nd was when they were finally finished is what it was then. So it was either Thursday or Friday is when they actually had like the General Assembly finished for the year is what it is then. So unless they're going to come back and have to like, I think the only reason they would actually come back into session maybe is because of DeWine being a dipshit and trying to do a veto on HB 68 and them having to come back in and like override a veto basically is what it would be then. But outside of that, I think it's basically going to be sometime in like mid-January or so is when they'll come back into session, maybe early February. I forget exactly how long they take off is what it is. That's the problem though, is like the issue with certain General Assemblies across this country, whether it be Florida or any place else like that is what it is they'll basically have like these 90-day sessions what it is for the year essentially. and it'll be, or not even like the year, but like the whole fucking like 2-year time span is what it is there. And then it's like the governor can basically call in like random special sessions like every so often is what it is then, which is kind of stupid, honestly. Whereas you compare to Ohio, we technically have, within a 2-year time span of people being state reps and state senators and stuff like that, they're in session all the time, dude, throughout that 2 years. Like, it's pretty much every month they're going to be in session, except for like a couple federal holidays here and there and stuff like that. Or maybe they'll take like a break in the summer or spring, whatever it's going to be. Or it'll be like their winter break kind of thing, whatever, for Christmas time and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, though, I'd say honestly, it's about probably 8 months or so out of the year they're actually in session. So, like, give or take, obviously, might be closer to like 7 months, honestly. But yeah, like it's like at least like half the year anyway, maybe just over that. So yeah, it's a decent chunk, dude, is what it is. And then you combine that like both years, obviously. So you're basically like roughly 14 to 16 of 24 months you're actually doing a job, is what it is, compared to somebody else who is elected into another general assembly in another state where 3 of the 24 months are actually in session to do a job, and the other 21 months are getting paid to do fucking nothing, basically. That's what it is. So, anyway. That being said, I do disagree with them getting paid when they're not actually in session, is what it is. I don't think they should be getting 100. I actually figured out one time what the baseline salary is here in Ohio, because it's like, I think it's like 60-something thousand is what they get for their salary every year or something. And I figured out that it was actually, or it might be a little bit less than that, actually. But anyway, I figured it out, and it was like $114 to $130-something a day is what they're getting paid to be a state rep here, is what it is. Even when they're not doing anything in the actual General Assembly is what it is there. So, anyway. But going on to what Brian Stewart said here earlier today, said 3 Columbus teens, he should have actually said it like it is, 3 Columbus black teens waited outside the South High Street Kroger to beat a white man to death a few days ago. It's sickening, and yet when this lawlessness prompts a Kroger to leave a neighborhood, city leaders will bemoan that it's now a, quote, food desert or some other nonsense. And then, of course, he posted the thing here, which was 3 teens. Obviously, you can see the race of these assholes right here. 2 of them. Those are the ones that are over the age of 18, because the one that's not is 17. Oh, what's your ad block bullshit? Yeah, 3 teen suspects. Teens suspected of, quote, laughing and enjoying themselves as they beat father of 3 to death outside Kroger now face murder charges after victim died a week before Christmas. Obviously, that is Donnie Smith and 2 of his kids right there is what it is. Yeah. Jamarion, Friedre Evans Barrett, Deontay Davon Hughes, Franklin County Jail mugshots. Those are the 2 douchebags right there. And then it says Donnie Smith and 2 of his kids for the GoFundMe page. Like, these dudes just look evil, honestly, dude. Like, that, I don't know which one of the 2 is which, but, like, that second one, that fucking mugshot's like the didn't do nothing face, basically. It's like, oh, he didn't do nothing wrong. Like, fuck off, man. But anyway. And then as we pointed out here, I said, what's more important here is the fact that this attack wasn't stopped until an armed good guy got involved. Now is the time to go back to stand your ground and get rid of the lawsuit trash that currently exists in it, with an update we've been asking for since 2022. And then this Charlie guy said to Brian Stewart, he said, this doesn't explain the food deserts in rural Ohio, yet they exist throughout all of Ohio. So that's like kind of a yes and no. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that for a minute, actually. Where my aunt lives in another county, there is kind of that going on a little bit. But the thing is, it's not really a food desert per se. What this Charlie guy was actually talking about in Ohio, and most like other states as well for that matter, and this goes back to the shamdemic of 2020, basically, where you had Dickhead DeWine basically fuck over all the mom and pop shops out there, and then be like, oh, hey, Walmart, hey, Target, hey, Lowe's, etc. Oh, you guys pay us a fuck ton of money and random bullshit taxation. Okay, we're gonna let your asses stay open as giant corporations, but fuck all these mom and pop shops that are paying us next to nothing is what it is in taxation. And that's exactly what they did, dude. They picked that son of a bitch DeWine and these other fucking scumbag governors, didn't matter if they were left or right, chose winners and losers in the situation. They chose to fuck over multiple generational restaurants, generational small businesses, bulk food stores, etc., for their own bullshit benefit, for their own fucking kickbacks from giant corporations, what it was, dude, honestly, at the end of the day. And it's fucking disgusting is what it is. And that's what that Charlie guy's talking about, because what you'll have, it's like the Walmart Main Street thing is what it is back in the day, where you had a Walmart come in, they destroyed all the fucking businesses along Main Street, and then like a year or two later, 5 years later, 10 years later, whatever it was, then because of rampant theft in that area, they're like, oh, sorry, gotta close up shop. And now you're basically fucked. Now you have a food desert is what it is in those rural areas now. Because instead of it being, a local Piggly Wiggly or a local IGA or maybe a small Giant Eagle or something like that is what it'll be as your main grocery store. Now you got fucking Walmart coming up in there as a super center, like, 20 miles away from town or whatever it is there. And because they're 20 miles away from town, but the place that they put them in is like a fucking ghetto, basically. And now you got all this fucking rampant theft going on. Now you got fucking them shutting down because of that shit, dude. Because you got these assholes that will sit there, walk into the place, fucking grab shit off the shelf and start eating it, and then film themselves eating it like a bunch of douchebags. And then you wonder why all the Chicago ones went out of fucking business here recently. And now you got that fucking cocksucker Brandon Johnson talking about how, we're just going to make state-run grocery stores now. Oh, you mean like Soviet Russia and the USSR, motherfucker? Where you literally had the fucking government go full red guard against the people of the country at the time, and they had like nothing to fucking buy because it was all like way overpriced, and they were being way underpaid. You mean like that kind of shit? Communism? Yeah, exactly. Fucking Bernie Sanders loving his bread lines and being all like, oh, it means people can eat. No, it means people are starving, you stupid motherfucker, and because of inflation bullshit, like the crap y'all are pushing right now here in America, it means people can't afford to eat, you fucking asshole. I was reading a story yesterday, actually, where they were talking about Canada, is what it was specifically. And it was how you now have like an average of like 2,000 or 3,000 families relying on like every food bank in that country now on a weekly basis. And these are people that are all working, by the way. But because, again, like Canada's even more hyperinflated than America is right now, it's just this crazy ass bullshit, dude. And again, it has to do with the fucking globalist pieces of shit like your Trudeau's and stuff like that's what it is, man. But to put this crap in place is what it is there. So, but anyway, I totally get what Brian Stewart was saying though about the whole thing, where he's essentially saying like, oh yeah, because people now feel that this Kroger is going to be unsafe because the guy was literally beaten to death outside of it. Then now they're going to stop shopping there or whatever, and it's going to cause Kroger to lose, a bunch of revenue, and then they're going to close up that shop or whatever the case be. And then people are going to bitch about food desert stuff is what it is. So, anyway, I wouldn't be surprised by it, honestly. It's kind of, and what's even more sad, actually, is going back to the 2020 riots, there was actually, I forget what grocery store it was down there in Minnesota area where Fentanyl Floyd, OD'd there, shit like that is what it was. That they burned to the ground, basically. And then you had this old grandma, who's an old black woman, by the way, who was like 70 or 80 or something, talking about how she now had to take a bus like 7 more blocks or whatever it was just to get to a different place now to go shopping, instead of being able to literally walk down the road like a quarter of a block to go buy food and shit. And that's the problem. It's people like that are the ones that get fucked over in all the situations, dude. It's the people that are actually the old folks that are the, people on fixed incomes, etc. there that don't have a vehicle to go someplace, don't have the ability to go someplace. And yet they're the ones that suffer the consequences for the actions of a bunch of young pieces of shit is what it is, dude, in general. So, anyway, let's see, this other guy was talking about Brian Stewart is always complaining about something because it's the only way people will pay attention to him. As Robin Woman said, 3 teens commit crimes, charge them and lock them up. No need to punish a whole community. See, and that's the problem, though. People like that just are not getting it. It's not going through their heads is what it is, dude. Like, they're already charging these kids. You not realize that? You can look at the fucking actual, article there is what it is, lady. What you're not understanding is Brian Stewart, being a state rep there, is basically going like step 2, step 3, step 4, etc. is what it is there, man, where he's saying, hey, yeah, this horrible act happened here because of this. Now people are going to feel unsafe in this area. They're going to stop probably shopping in this area, which is now going to affect the bottom line of this grocery store, which now may or may not be there anymore at some point in the future because of the whole thing. And it kind of goes back to that broken window policing kind of mindset too, for that matter, where it's basically stopping somebody, doing like a little bit of vandalism so that it's not like a murder like a year later or something like that kind of thing, which is kind of exactly what the broken window policing policy was back in the day, where it was they would stop like the simple explanation of that actually is basically you have a factory that has gone out of business. You have one day somebody walk to the factory or past the factory, whatever it is there, that has its windows boarded up or something, and they decide to pick up a rock and chuck it at one of the windows and break the glass, and the glass is now broken. Next day, day after that, whatever it is, a couple weeks, maybe even a week later or so, another person comes along, sees that first broken window, tosses a fucking rock at a second window to break it, etc., etc. Fast forward a couple weeks, now you got somebody tagging the fucking building with graffiti. Oh, fast forward like another few days to another few weeks or so, and now it's 3 or 4 people tagging this stuff. Oh, fast forward another month or two. Now you got some dude dealing drugs on the corner. Fast forward 6 months to a year later, and that guy's being murdered by a fucking rival gang is what it is. Like, that's the whole broken window policy is what it is. So, and it's basically to arrest for low-level crimes so it doesn't get out of hand then. And that's the problem right now, is that we're not arresting for those low-level crimes now. And so now you're having fucking violent crime skyrocket in this country, like carjackings, etc. There's what it is. See, this idiot Ryan guy said, that Brian Suri said, your take is that if a few people commit a crime, a whole area deserves to starve. It's not what he's saying, you idiot, and you clearly understand that, Ryan. Said, yes, crime should be dealt with, but to act as if food deserts are the reasonable explanation stemming from the crime goes to show your disinterest in solutions and lust for collective punishment. Again, you clearly don't understand this, buddy. What is this dude's whole thing anyway here? Okay, it's just fucking some jackass, basically. And this Nick guy was talking about tone deafness is an Olympic sport to Republicans, there is what he's saying. And then somebody said, judging by the looks of it, Brian Stewart has no idea what a food desert is. He obviously does, is what it is. The whole point he's trying to point out here, people. So, this Nancy woman said, Kroger gave up on America a long time ago. They are now a globalist corporation that must look after their bottom line after all. So no one punished the COVID narrative, off-masking, testing, shots, etc. Ohio. More than Kroger's, you have to ask yourself why. See what this Matt guy said, or Mark guy said. He said, innocent person murdered. Accused are minors. Actually, they're not, guy. One is a minor, 2 are not. So, see, so Brad uses excuse to preempt an argument exists only in their mind. Don't dare play the lawlessness card. Party has endorsed a seditious criminal. Oh, he means Trump. Fuck these fucking people. That alone, I'm just going to block this guy after that. It's because I'm just making that a statement, not a fucking response narrative is what it is. Yeah, the only seditious criminal there, buddy, is fucking bitch-ass Biden, who's committed at least a dozen versions of fucking high treason at this point. Let's see, going back to the comment section here for this. You got this Bobby guy saying, food deserts are real. You think horrendous crimes are real. Both can exist simultaneously and both are far from complex. So move on to next juvie grievance for which you offer no solutions. Well, there is a solution there, Bobby. It's called literally giving firing squads to murderers in this state as a death penalty solution is what it is there. You beat some man to death, you deserve to die like that, dude. Honestly, that's what it should be. It shouldn't even be firing squad. It should just be eye for an eye at that point. It's like, yeah, if you're going to beat some guy to death, that's exactly how you should die is what it is, man. Simple solution to a fucking simple problem is what it is there. You know? And that's the thing, right? Like, we used to be a country that had frontier justice in this nation back, 150, 200 years ago, give or take. 1900s, late 1800s, cowboy times and stuff like that, where somebody did some shit like this, somebody killed somebody like that, dude, you know what they were going to do? They were going to literally form a posse on horseback to ride up, hunt your ass down, and probably lynch your ass from a fucking tree at that point. So, I'm just saying, man, like, it could be a lot worse off than the shit we're doing today, man. So, I mean, hell, our founding fathers were hanging for a bunch of different reasons back in those days. So, anyway. Actually looking at this story here, because I'm going to go ahead and read this particular article here in a second. It almost sounds like these dudes are trying to do some clout chasing for, like, internet fame or something to start out with, which makes sense, honestly. Yeah, it says 3 Ohio teens were charged with murder on Wednesday, 2 days after a father of 3 died of head injuries. He suffered from an attack in early December outside of a Kroger supermarket in Columbus. On the night of December 6th, Chamorion Fredre Evans Bennett, 19, Deontay, Davon Hughes, 18, and a 17-year-old male, all black males, by the way, had a fight with customers inside of a Kroger on South High Street, according to Columbus Police Department, when store security, there you go, store security, because that's a fucking ghetto shithole and you have to have store security there, dude, told the teens to leave. They waited outside for 53-year-old Donnie Smith Jr. to exit the store and attacked him. So here's my problem with that right now, right? And this goes back to the shitty policing of the Columbus PD in this state, honestly. The fucking security, the second they told those little punk asses to leave, dude, they should have fucking trespassed from the goddamn property. They should have held them. They shouldn't even tell them to leave. Dude. They should have fucking held them inside of a Kroger in fucking zip ties or some shit like that, waiting for the fucking cops to come and have the fucking cops trespass their asses from the fucking premises. And if they don't leave, then fucking arrest them, dude. That would have stopped Donnie from being murdered that day, honestly. And that's the problem, dude. It's people not taking the fucking steps to do what needs to be done there. Anyway, so the defendants who allegedly were spotted laughing and enjoying themselves while fatally stomping on, kicking, and punching Smith outside the Kroger around 7 p.m., went on to flee the scene when an armed witness confronted them. And that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, this is what I've said about the whole stand your ground thing, because right now the way stand your ground exists in Ohio, which is not like stand your ground, it's expanded castle doctrine. And so basically, and this is straight from my own state rep, Richie Stolfus is what it is, he said, quote unquote, we didn't have the votes until we took out the thing about not being able to be civilly lawsuited. That's not stand your ground then, buddy. That's literally expanded castle doctrine. Stand your ground is saying, hey, I have every legal right to fear for my life or the life of somebody else, and I can intervene and kill these motherfuckers without facing any kind of repercussion from their dumbass fucking families trying to sue my ass. But that's not how it is right now. The way that it is right now is you can, if this Good Samaritan had stepped in there, shot these pieces of shit on sight, their fucking retard families could have sued that person. That's how fucking stupid the GOP is in this state and every other state for that matter, when they watered down good pro-Toy legislation like stand your ground and expanded castle doctrine instead of actually having to stand your ground legislation as it stands to begin with. Because that's the whole point, dude. With what is in place right now that they call stand your ground, you can technically intervene for somebody else on behalf of somebody else, dude, to save their life. And that's exactly what this person was trying to do that night. The only problem is they didn't fucking deal with the situation at hand and just fucking drop 3 motherfuckers. Room temperature challenge at the time is what it is there. And our society would have been better off had they done that, honestly. And I'm just going to say it like it is right now. Anyway, let's see. Said, quote, when the victim was on the ground, the suspects continued to punch, kick, and stomp on him. Said Donnie was unconscious and bleeding from the head area. Said an affidavit of probable cause obtained by a law and crime. Said a witness with a firearm yelled at the suspects to stop the assault. The suspects then fled across the parking lot. Witness stated that they were laughing and enjoying themselves while they were kicking the shit out of Donnie. So on December 14th, police said that they were investigating the attack as a felonious assault that left Smith in critical condition. A GoFundMe campaign started under the name of Nicole Evans, Donnie Smith's longtime partner, and the mother of a 6-year-old daughter and 15-year-old son, revealed that the victim was, quote, injured so severely he had to undergo brain surgery. Says, despite doctors' efforts to save his life, Donnie did not make it. He had no insurance, leaving the cost of funeral services to Nicole. He also left behind their 2 young children just a week before Christmas, the Post said. So in an interview with local affiliate, Nicole Evans said she is devastated and sick to her stomach over Donnie's death. It's just sickening, and I cannot believe you would take another person's life. It was a random act of violence. No, it really wasn't a random act of violence. It's the continued fucking black and white hate crimes we're seeing all across this country for the last couple of years now, dude. And this is what pisses me off. Like, people never want to talk about that. That's what we'll talk about right now, honestly, dude. I was watching, I believe it was AK Nation News here a few months ago, and it was either the end of the summertime or the beginning of the fall here is what it was, one of those 2 months, like July, August, September, someplace in there, where you had over 50 black and white hate crimes happen in less than 30 days in this country. But yet the mainstream media never fucking talked about any of them is what it was, dude, outside of local media and stuff like that. And even then, just like with this article here, they don't even fucking mention race in the whole thing. It's not, 3 black teens beat white man to death. No, it's fucking 3 teens beat Ohio man to death. No, it's fucking literally 3 black teens kicking and stomping and fucking brain bleeding a fucking older white man to death, and then laughing about it and fucking running away like a bunch of little punk ass sun teen pieces of shit that they really are, dude, is what it is. And that's the problem right now. And that is exactly why they should meet the exact same fucking fate. It should be eye for an eye laws at this point, dude. How they murdered this man, that's how they should be fucking killed, honestly. Anyway, taking on here, it says, Evans said that Donnie was a great father, loved by his kids, family, and friends. Don't know how you could just take another person's life so senselessly, she revealed. That her 6-year-old daughter has begun to realize her father can't go to the park or draw with her anymore. So Donnie Smith's family said that the father of 2 sons and 1 daughter and grandfather to 1 granddaughter. Okay, so that's what it is then. Wait. Oh, okay, so his other kid is over 18 then, if that's the case. That makes sense. It says, died on December 18th, 1 week before Christmas. Said Smith loved race cars, softball, and sports. His obituary said Franklin County Court records revealed that by law and crime show that Evans, Bennett, and Hughes were arrested Wednesday and had arraignments scheduled for Thursday morning. The third suspect, a minor, was arrested the same day as his co-defendants. It's unclear at this time if the 17-year-old will be charged as an adult or not. He fucking needs to be. He fucking needs to be, dude. Every single one of them be charged as an adult at this point, and they should all get death penalty in the state. So, anyway. It's fucking disgusting, dude. Let's see here now. I'm going to the comment section of this article, though, where it gets kind of interesting here. So, like I said, we showed the 2 pieces of shit, the 18 and 19-year-old little punk asses that were arrested there. Look like a couple of ghetto hood rats is what it is, dude. This person here said, good job, moms of these ferals who look like they have about 2 brain cells between them. So each one of those guys has like 1 brain cell. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So, let's see here now. This person said, in many states, including my North Carolina, a deadly force response by the witness would have been legally justified. Yes, it would have been. Yes, it would have been. For sure, for sure. Let's see. And this person said, that woman, Donnie's partner said, it was a random act of violence. Sounds like a clueless woke Karen. Exactly, dude. And that's what I'm saying. None of this shit is random, dude. They were looking to fuck up some white person that night, period. End of story. And that's how it should be treated at this point. That's why it should be treated with hate crimes, too, on top of everything else, for that matter, dude. You know, and it's just it was even more fucked up going like expanding shit out or whatever for the whole thing that's going on right now with Israel, Hamas, Palestine, all that shit like that. Dude, is what it is. You have Jewish people in the past like 10 weeks or so in this country realizing that anti-Semitism is not kicking up like crazy, and finally realizing for the first time what Christians have been facing for the past decade or more in this country, which is the shitting on Christianity and the continued attacks on Christian white males is what it is for the most part. So, anyway. Yeah, I agree with what this person said. Carry everywhere all the time. Be prepared to do what needs to be done, and know you will likely be demonized for it. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with what this guy said here. Armed witness probably shouldn't have yelled at them, just started shooting. Yeah, exactly, dude. And this is what's fucked up, right? Like going to the narrative and stuff right now. You know damn well if this race narrative had been reversed there, dude, where it was a black dude being kicked and stomped to death by 3 white kids, this shit would be fucking headline coverage, wall to wall, 24/7, 365 on mainstream media right now, dude. But because it doesn't fit their fucking racial hate narrative, it barely gets local news coverage in the fucking area it's in right now. To the point where I had to wait like literally weeks to see this shit in a feed recently to even start talking about, because I know it didn't even happen until the other day. That's what's fucked up right now, dude. I think we're gonna leave it off with this last little bit here is what it is, and then we'll be back later for Festivus 2023. This person here said, Donnie's 3 white children are going to grow up to hate and fear black people, of course. Liberals will tote and say, oh, this is just inconsiderable racism. And this other person responded back and said, a friend of mine visiting from England and I were in a line at a store the other day. Behind us were 4 black kids. So 4 black son teens is what it is there. Maybe 17 to 18. One of them was talking, yelling on his phone. Quote, yeah, that bitch at Walmart is racist as fuck. Me and Johnny was waiting in line and she kept giving us dirty fucking looks. What? No, he wasn't doing a damn thing, just fucking around and shit. She fucking had an attitude with us. Cold, racist bitch. She racist as fuck, blah, blah, blah. So this went on for the entire time it took us to check out. His friends were all chanting amongst themselves like, this is normal behavior, a real classy bunch. Meanwhile, elderly people, mothers with their kids, etc., are shopping in line as well. All I could think is, I wonder why Walmart lady was giving you the stink eye. Doubt it had much to do with her skin tone. So my friend was astonished. Is this common here? I explained that, well, it is not common. It is also not uncommon. Yeah, it's fucking sad. It is what it is. And this person responded back a couple hours ago. I said, this is about behavior, not race, but they couldn't comprehend that. They continue to be encouraged in the same repulsive behavior by the media, academia, and government. Exactly. And that's what it is, dude. And a lot of it's in music, honestly. Van Drake and I had a conversation about that recently, about the whole, I forget what it's called, like drill rap or whatever. And he actually wants to ban that shit because of all of his kids now coming up in life. And he doesn't want them to be influenced by that garbage is what it is, dude. Because that's what it is. It creates fucking just trash upon trash for generation after generation is what it is, dude. With that kind of shit ass crap in our country, dude, is what it is there. So, yeah, I don't blame him at all for wanting that crap banned. So, anyway. And as this person says, so where are the parents of these good black citizens? All this needs to stop, and the only way is by force. Somebody said probably at some crack house. So the one looks like a couple of them look like crack babies with a few brain cells between them. I don't know. Let me go back and look at those good guys there, man. I could definitely see the first one being a crack baby. The dude with like a little 5 o'clock shadow there as a mustache. Second guy, maybe not. Hard to say, man. Hard to say. Yeah, and then this person was giving LeBron James shit, rightfully so. Yeah. Yeah, somebody else said more Obama kiddos. He must be proud, yeah. If Obama had a son. Exactly, dude. Yep, and somebody else say here more black and white violence, yet media stays silent about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, this guy here is talking about the three of these pieces of shit, said hopefully the state will charge them with the fullest extent of the law with a prison sentence of life without possibility of parole. You realize we have death penalty here in Ohio, right? Like, we still have that on the books right now. And like I said, we should have that. We should have stuff added to that, including firing squad, including public hanging like Texas does, etc., etc. Cheaper death penalty method is what it is, man. Deal with the shit accordingly is what needs to happen there. This person says 17-year-olds to be treated as an adult for his actions. Were the same as the other two, so why should it be given a different treatment? If only Mr. Smith had enough time to use his groceries to beat the hell out of these criminals. Yeah, that actually is true. Like, actually, that would have been something too, for that matter. Like, like a couple cans in a fucking bag or something like that, dude. Like, would have done some damage, honestly, on that one. Like, just start swinging is what it is, man. Like, even if the bag breaks, like, at least you get a couple shots in it. Maybe they'll just run like a couple bitches. What it is there. Like I said before, though, honestly, the better solution would have been for him to actually be carrying that night and just smoke all three of these pieces of shit when they tried to attack him. Is what it is, dude. So I'm actually going to call out, before we leave here, this one comment here in this comment section. This John guy here claimed Ohio is a very liberal state, depending on the county and the DA, woke or not. These three could be charged as adults. Well, two of them actually are adults, is what it is, dude. We're going to slap on the wrist, figures they're on the discriminated class. Their excuse will be white supremacy made us do it, etc., etc. And then somebody else said, going by the original TC, what? That's not TC from the NEA chats, is it? So Ohio is a red state, one for Trump in 2020, and 75% of its House members are Republican. If that's not your definition, if that's your definition of very, very liberal state, you must be from Florida. So, yeah. No, we're not a fucking liberal state, dude. What we have is we have Democrat hell pockets within our state is what it is there, which are places like Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, etc. I want to point something out too, by the way. This is why I called out bitch-ass Justin Bibb last night on X/Twitter, is because that motherfucker, thanks to that piece of shit, being a fucking woke-ass leftist douchebag who's all anti-gunner and fucking pro-globalist agenda garbage, what it is there, Cleveland is now the 8th fucking city in the country right now for the highest crime numbers, according to how much money it takes to deal with criminals in this state right now, per capita. So yeah, good job, Justin Bibb. You are the fucking problem. The solution is for your dumbass to resign from office immediately. The same thing with that douchebag Andrew Ginther. Same thing with that fuckhead down in Cincinnati. Same thing with that fucking asswipe that just took over here not long ago in Akron, etc., etc., dude. Canton's another one. Toledo's another one. Dayton's another one. Like, all these fucking lefts just need to resign from office immediately, dude, as mayors, etc. And we can be a better off state than after that. Because what they're doing as mayors is obviously nothing. And they're just collecting a fucking paycheck to sit there and fucking blame the guns and mow racism and everything. It's like, no, dude, you're fucking sitting there not prosecuting criminals for the criminal shit they're doing. In many cases, black teens. And yet you wonder why the fucking issues keep happening. I don't know. Maybe fucking charge these pieces of shit as adults once in a while for like 10,000 fucking carjackings. And maybe you ain't gonna be no fucking 10,000 carjackings anymore, you jackasses. Just like that one motherfucker down in Columbus, dude. It was a black teen down there whose mother specifically told the cops, she's like, stop bringing this kid back to my house and charge his ass for fucking stealing people's cars and shit. But yeah, they weren't doing that. For some reason, Columbus PD, what the fuck, man? Again, are you being told not to fucking prosecute this little piece of shit? I mean, the dude's literally committing multiple fucking felony carjackings, dude. Like, what the fuck? So, Uh, yeah. It's just disgusting, man. That's what it is. Actually, before we go, we'll talk about this headline anyway, this story. I might get into the actual. I don't know if I'm going to get into the actual story here or not. Killer fatally shot wrong man after driving 250 miles to murder boyfriend of child's mother after they had adversarial conversations. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I can only assume that the killer here is the guy on the left there. And then the other dude is the murder victim, would be my assumption there. So it's 26-year-old man in Texas who drove hundreds of miles to kill the man his child's mother was dating, only to accidentally shoot and kill the wrong man, will spend more than 2 decades behind bars for the senseless crime. Why isn't it forever, dude? Hell, it's Texas. Why isn't this dude being strung up, honestly, right now? Seriously, man. So the Turret County jury on Wednesday ordered Kendall Jarrell Morris to serve a sentence of 27 years in a state correctional facility for the 2020 slaying of Robert Cooley III. So the jury previously found Morris guilty of 1 count of murder for fatally shooting Cooley. So according to a news release from Turret County Criminal District Attorney Phil something or other, Morris drove on May 4, 2020, more than 250 miles to the home of Houston, Texas, to a resident of Arlington. Yeah. My brother is calling me right now. Shit. Nope, that's not good. Yeah, battery's dying anyway on the phone. I don't know if you guys heard that beep. Probably did. So we need to go change out this phone and put a different battery in there. Is what it is. Yeah. So it's according to new. Where the fuck we're at now? According to news release, yeah, drove on May the 4th, 2020, more than 250 miles to the home in Houston, Texas, to a residence in Arlington, where he believed a new boyfriend of the mother of the child lived. So prosecutors said Morris made the trip intentionally to kill the new boyfriend. He thought he saw the boyfriend open fire, killing Robert Cooley III, 24, who was not the boyfriend. It says court records obtained by Fort Worth Star-Telegram provide additional details about the circumstances of the shooting. According to the report, Morris had never met the new boyfriend in person, only had a basic physical description of the man, that he was black and had dreadlocks, before making the drive to the Arlington apartment complex intending on killing him. However, Morris and the boyfriend had gotten into several, quote, adversarial conversations on the phone before Cooley's tragic death. So the probable cause affidavit penned by a detective in Arlington's police department reportedly said that Morris and another man were captured on surveillance footage from a gun store in Edgebrook, Texas on May the 3rd, where Morris purchased two .223 magazines for an AR-15 rifle. So a witness who police said lived with a boyfriend told police that in the early morning hours of May the 4th, a 2008 white Nissan Altima was parked in a parking lot at the apartment complex where the shooting later occurred. So that witness said they saw Cooley walking through the parking lot before hearing several gunshots. So when she looked around, Cooley was reportedly lying on the ground and the white Nissan Altima had left the scene. So several witnesses reportedly told police they saw Morris driving the white Altima, placing him at the scene of the shooting. A short while later, after the fatal shooting, Morris was apprehended by a state trooper. With the Texas State Police, authorities said that they recovered an AR-15 rifle from inside of his vehicle. So the man who accompanied Morris to purchase the ammunition and drove him to from Houston to Arlington, was initially charged with murder by the district attorney's office, but later dropped the charge. What the fuck? Jesus. Like, nah, man. How is that not accessory before, during, and after the fact, dude? Seriously. Like, you literally drove the guy to go commit a fucking murder. Like, if it wasn't for you driving the motherfucker, the guy would have committed the murder. Like, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, he should, like, that. Seriously. How is that not automatically felony murderable, dude? Because you're literally involved in multiple felonies, including somebody being murdered. Like, what the fuck, DAs? Like, that's the problem right there entirely with this country, dude, in a nutshell, honestly. So, that being said, I'm going to go finish up here then. Go check out NEA's cast for a little bit. And his, like, Weekend Geek, whatever it is there, for his Geek Fusion TV channel. And then later on tonight, about probably 2.5 hours from now, give or take, we'll be coming back for Festivus 2023. And hopefully by then I'll actually find the Rand Paul airing of grievance things about the wasteful spending of our government then. So, anyway. But, yeah, needless to say, enough is enough of this shit, dude. It's time to deal with this stuff accordingly. It's time to actually put the right legislation in place. And it's time to have legitimately firing squad, etc., added to every state death penalty in this country right now, because there's no reason to have cheaper alternative methods than fucking lethal injection for people that are clearly going to be murdering pieces of shit is what it is. And it's time to deal with this shit accordingly, which is very little time for these people that clearly did this fucking crime to have any kind of appeal process. And then once that shit is done for one and done kind of thing, right to the fucking deal, in the fucking ground then, dude. And it's as simple as that, really. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one later.